Today, we're going to explore the site of a massive explosion. We're here today at the Darnley Cascade, and beside it is the old Darnley Mill. Before Europeans arrived in this area, it was inhabited by a native people that were called the Neutrals by the French. They were a very peaceful people who refused to become involved with battles between the Hurons on Georgian Bay and the Iroquois who lived to the south of Lake Ontario. Apparently, the Neutrals numbered around 40,000 people, but they were decimated by smallpox that the Europeans had brought when they arrived in 1638 to 1640. In 1650, the Iroquois attacked the Hurons and involved the Neutrals, who again lost more people. The Neutral nation completely vanished by 1700, when the Europeans had established control. The Neutrals were the same native people who inhabited the area around Fort Mississauga in present Niagara-on-the-Lake that I'll explore in a later video. By the early 1800s, Crooks Hollow was in the center of Upper Canada's industrial growth. Crooks Hollow was named after James Crooks, an industrialist who saw the potential of Spencer Creek to power industrial development in the town. James Crooks was born in Scotland in 1778 and came to Upper Canada when he was 13. Crooks constructed a grist mill to supply flour for making bread for the British soldiers of the War of 1812. The mill was named Darnley Mill in honor of his Scottish hero, Lord Darnley. The mill was made of stone quarried downstream near Morden's Mill. The mill originally had a 9-meter overshot water wheel that supplied power to power the 4 stones inside. Crooks had a 400-acre lot on Spencer Creek where he set up the first major industrial complex in Upper Canada. His empire consisted of a grist mill, a tannery, a distillery, a linseed oil factory, a sawmill, a general store, a blacksmith shop, and a carding mill, all situated along the creek or near it. In 1826, the grist mill was converted to Upper Canada's first paper mill. Crooks eventually sold his paper mill to Thomas Helliwell due to decreasing water power. The next owner was Ellen Bansley, and after her passing was sold to James Stutt and Robert Sanderson. In 1878, Sanderson retired and Stutt took over the entire business with the aid of his sons. James Stutz and his sons ran the business for many, many years. On July 9th, 1885, it started out like a day like many other days. A massive steam boiler explosion killed Stutt's son, John A. Stutt, and Ed Maloney, a boiler house fireman, presumably the man who shoveled coal into the firebox. The explosion could be heard for miles around. The explosion was so large that it took the roof right off the boiler house, as well as the roof of the main building. The mill continued on for many years, and in the 1930s, now owned by the Grenville Paper Company, the floors were replaced with poured concrete. Like many old mills in Ontario, they eventually succumbed to fire. And this mill was no different. The mill was abandoned in 1943 after it was devastated by a major fire. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to join me on my next adventure.